All right, it is Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. I got my buddy Will Vogel here, and Keegan Eckert will be joining us a little later. I see Brian Roy in the comments saying, "Hey, fellas, so what's going on? How does everybody feel after their draft?"
I feel pretty good about my team.
Hey, Michael Huck, good to see you. I think the Panthers had a solid draft. I didn't put them at the top, and I didn't put them at the bottom. It was just a good, solid draft. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I liked it. I like Bryce Young. I would have liked Stroud, but you know what? Bryce Young's either you couldn't go wrong with either. The only thing that concerns me is Bryce Young's size, but other than that, he's like a Russell Wilson, Drew Brees type quarterback. And then in the second round, we got Ring Mingo, who's a good
Jonathan Mingo.
receiver. Jonathan Mingo from the Ole Miss, which yes, we lost DJ Moore, and he's probably not going to be a great replacement. But you know what? Our team has a mix of old and young receivers. We got Thielen, we have um, Chark now, and now we have Mingo, we have Marshall Jr. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then we got a bunch of other picks. I can't remember exactly who, but those were the top two.
Cool. Sent you the link. I'm not as stoked as most Lions fan, but it could work out. Takes 3 years to really know how much, anyways, as most of y'all know. Absolutely. Will's mic volume is too low. Can you turn your mic up at all, or just your sound period since you added
Are we
that?
good? Are we good?
Let me see. I might be able to add a little. Go ahead, speak.
Okay, so
No, that's a little
yeah,
too much. There. I just adjusted it on my end so it EQ'd you up a little bit.
sounds good. So overall, I thought the Panthers did fine.
Okay. Well, in other news in the NFL, the corpse of Randall Cobb was signed to play with Karen Rodgers once again in New York City. He got a 1 year deal. What do you think about that, Will?
Another guy who's probably going to be third or fourth on the depth chart. He's not that great anymore. He's way past his prime. It's just someone who's familiar with Aaron Rodgers, who's like I said, a third or fourth string uh, wide receiver, and yeah, probably will last only 1 year and then just hang it up.
Oh, James Burgess says, I must give 100% to how, why, and when we got Branch, which was pure awesome. Um, what was crazy is Brad Holmes lied to Gutenhurst, the GM of the Packers. He told them that we were trading up to get Hendon Hooker. So he literally just said, "Yeah, I'm trading up to get a quarterback." And they were like, "Oh, Hendon Hooker, yeah, that's it." They traded up and they said, "Nope, Brian Branch."
And I like that better because you got Hooker later.
Yeah, Goody got taken to school.
Yep, yep, exactly.
Yes, he did. It was a great move, and then we traded back twice, and I'm like, man, we keep trading back. We traded from 55 to 63, then 63 back into the third round to 68, and I was like, huh. And Will Vogel, you first got on my show right around Thanksgiving, wasn't it?
I think so. Yes.
Remember what I said after Hendon Hooker got hurt? He'd be a great third round pick. Where did the Lions pick
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker?
Third.
Well,
And it's crazy, like you said the other day on another show. If he never got hurt, he would have been first round talent for
yeah,
sure.
he'd have been first overall because he would have never gave up the Heisman the way he was playing. He had what, 37 touchdowns this year and two interceptions,
And beat Alabama.
which was great. And Here is DC. Welcome in, DC.
Howdy.
DC.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, James Burgess. Second year in a row, the Lions caused Tom Grossi to lose his mind during the draft.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, absolutely. So I asked Will about his Panthers draft, but real quick, the only other news I'm going to talk about before we get into more draft is Henry Ruggs was sentenced yesterday and got 3 to 10 years for his DUI because he
Yeah.
pled guilty. And everybody can say what they want. I give kudos to the kid for pleading guilty instead of because he had the money to get a good lawyer to fight it.
I agree. Yeah, there's no point fighting when you knew you were guilty of something
I mean, I
involving
hated what he
gambling.
did. I hated the fact he was drunk and it happened. I roasted him and I said, well, that just proves he was the reach I thought he was when the Raiders took him.
Ouch.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He didn't make it to a second contract.
Nope.
One way to put it.
Oh boy, I
He'll be
couldn't help it.
he I'm sorry to say this, but he'll be the next starting wide receiver for the Mean Machine in the longest yard part 3.
I think he's going to sign with Bishop Sycamore.
I can see it. Yeah, good for him.
Another fake team.
Another fake team.
Oh, that being said, now let's get into the draft. Who do you have as your top five? Who did you think had the best drafts? Top five overall. No particular order, just
Do you want us to give why also?
sure.
So I'm gonna give my 3 I already listed, and then I'll add 2 others. The Eagles. Might as well call them the Philadelphia Bulldogs or the Georgia Eagles because they grabbed yet again more Georgia Bulldogs. You got Keely Ringo, who's a good replacement for CGJG, Chauncey Gardner Johnson Jr. And you traded for DeAndre Swift, which I know the Lions are really happy to drop his contract, get rid of him. Um,
I
you
am.
got Jalen, you got Jalen Carter, who's a really good defensive player who fell and fell and fell. And I was at my brother's wedding party, like a pre-party, 2 days before the wedding, and I was like, why is this guy? Like, I know what he did wrong, but this guy, whoever scoops him up, is gonna make him a really good player. And look who it is. It's Philly. And then you got Nolan Smith also. And you drafted 2 other guys from Georgia last year. And then you got Tyler Sheen, who can protect Jalen Hurts because you know your O line's getting pretty old with Lane Johnson and Kelsey. My other winners are the Steelers. You got Broderick Jones, who's a good O lineman who could protect Pickett or Trubisky. You got Keanu Benton, who's an interior defender who can get to the QB, and their Steelers are known for their defense. You got Darnell Washington, who's a tight end number 2 behind Pat Fryermuth, who's their rookie last year. And 2 good feel-good stories. You got Joey Porter Jr., whose dad we know played for the Steelers for many years, and people are wondering or hoping that he would fall to his dad's team, which he did. And then you got Nate Herbig, whose brother Nick already plays for the Steelers on the O line. So you got brothers on the same team. My third winner got the Bengals, Miles Murphy. I'm a Clemson fan. I love Miles Murphy. He had 3 consecutive double-digit tackle for loss seasons at Clemson. That's huge. Yeah, DJ Turner, I think he's from Michigan if I'm not wrong, ran a
You're right.
4.26 40-yard dash, which is just insane. You got Chase Brown, who they need a running back currently. I know they got P. Ryan, but like you need another guy to replace Mixon because Chase Brown's a really good pass catching running back, and he also averages 5.3 yards per carry. My other 2 winners, real quick, I got the Texans. You got Will Anderson. You got C.J. Stroud. Those are 2 home run picks. And then I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions because what you guys did, you got Branch, you got Gibbs, you got Laporta, you got Campbell. You helped fill holes that you needed, and you got Hooker to back up Goff. So those are my 5 winners.
Okay. DC?
Well, cheers, Brian and James. Sorry I didn't catch you earlier. That was in the chat. First of all, we killed it. Secondly, Philly is, I don't know how the hell they did what they did. And Houston pulled off some Madden trading shit by getting back to back picks. That was just
Insane.
nuts. And Seattle, they did an awesome job too. And if I was a 49er fan, I would be laughing my ass off right now because they fucked my draft. God damn it. I knew we should have taken him in the third round. I said it in the mic.
Stop
No, no,
it.
no, don't take a kicker. What happens? They go and grab the best kicker in the draft in third round. Bullshit.
Oh,
They're
my
only the top point scorer on your team every year. They are.
I know. That's beside the point. I'm going to give you my top five. And I put San Francisco in my bottom because they took a kicker in the third round.
They're not gonna be doing
That
it with
being
Indy either.
said, that being said, Philly, Houston, um, Kansas City, the Steelers, and Detroit was my top five. Now we get to have fun, and I'm going to go in reverse order and start with DC. Who had your three worst drafts, in your opinion?
Um, I got to kind of lean towards Baltimore. They just weren't that impressive, and I thought they could have handled it all better. They had Levis and Hooker right there if they didn't re-sign Jackson. Uh, um, Other than that, uneventful. Green Bay was laughably uneventful. I mean, they have three offensive weapons that may or may not pan out in the second round, but we'll wait and see how that works out. Um, Rams also. I mean, what do? You traded everyone away, and you didn't get a quarterback to back off your 40-year-old quarterback with back surgery. Um,
Yeah, they did. They got
they
someone.
did.
They
Oh,
got
eventually.
Bennett.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got Bennett, which I would have been fine with Stenson Bennett, but yep. No one else really stunk off the board and said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Well, the only reason why I kind of had a feeling that the Rams would take Stetson Bennett is because they couldn't pick anybody before day three because Les Snead always says, fuck them picks.
They didn't have any.
Right. They had five picks for the entire draft.
Yep.
But that being said, Will, who was your bottom three?
The Browns. They did nothing impressive with all the picks they had. Nothing to write home about and say, wow, that was a great pick. 49ers, you took a kicker on day two. Don't get me wrong, Jake Moody's a great kicker, but you need safe kickers for day three. He probably would have been there day three, day four. And then the Packers, you reached on so many picks. You're not going to be that good anyway this year. So, yeah, those are my three losers: Browns, 49ers, and Packers.
And that's my three. Yes, Mark Malek, Super Bowl or bust. Um, who do you feel was the biggest steal in the draft, Will?
Man, biggest steal. I wouldn't say to steal, but I would say this guy's going to be an underdog, and I feel can be really good. Is the guy from UNC that oh no, was he drafted
Antoine
third?
Green, our last pick.
I think he's going to be really good. I think he's got the size. He's. I think I read the other day he had 18 touchdowns and 25 starts. This guy's really good. Um, yeah, I would say that was a steal. Not like the biggest name, but like a guy who is a steal.
DC?
Um, I actually got to agree with your dad and go Campbell. They
Well,
just snapped him up before everyone thought he would because don't take a middle linebacker in the first round yet. Everyone was going to, particularly the ones who were lower in there who draft all defense and were going to. He snagged him before everyone else of the playoff teams was able to grab him. I'd say that's the perfect steal.
Well, I'm going to say the guy that was considered the Heisman favorite for 2/3 of the college season. I mean, it's a tie with me for between Brian Branch and Hendon Hooker. Brian Branch at one time was mocked to go to us at 18.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Branch is a close second, that's for damn sure.
but I think those two were the steals of the draft. Um, and what's funny is I've read everywhere, even though everybody said it was a reach at 12. Guess who the running back got the best fit for a team, voted by every panelist the other day on a show?
Oh,
Probably
Gibby
Gibbs, right?
easily.
Jameer Gibbs.
I can see it.
There's another one who might not have lasted another round.
Oh, he wouldn't
Anyway,
have. I mean,
I mean,
there was text that came in. There was all sorts of things that went across Twitter where other GMs were talking, saying that they were going to grab him before 32. So,
yep.
and a couple of them even said they were taking him before 18. My biggest reach happened in the first round. It happened to be the Jets with their knee-jerk reaction to not being able to get Gibbs. They grabbed Will McDonald, a guy with a late day two grade.
Yeah, that was a really big read.
And who was it that took Forbes before Gonzalez or Porter was off the board? Washington. Washington.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to put my Redskins in worst draft. That just goes without saying. That everyone kind of assumes that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And everybody's like, why don't you like Forbes? He's a baller. I said, yeah, he was a great baller in college. But at 166, he has to run around in a thunderstorm to get wet.
Yep.
Yep,
And
the
that's the big.
Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots was what I heard. And all of them were picking before 18.
Yep.
Well, the Giants were after, but
I think the Patriots were somewhat of a loser. I know we were talking before the show, but
I
it's
thought
not
they had a
because
really solid draft. They
not
stole
because of the
Christian
draft,
Gonzalez.
Yep.
not because of the draft. It's because they didn't what they're going to do. Quarterback is it going to be Mack or is it going to be Bailey?
It's going to be Mac.
It is.
Yep, that you're absolutely right, Big Dan Davis. The Jets made no sense. You're right.
The Jets going to the Jets. Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, start the run at running back early. Another great move by the villain. The running back got started, and there you go.
Gonzo was indeed a true value when they grabbed him. And say what you want. I said Devin Witherspoon was a top 5 prospect. I never wavered from that. Where'd he go? Seattle at 5.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're trying to rebuild that D.
Yeah.
Got a hell of a guy to do it.
Yeah, and he's a good, really good piece.
That being said, was almost everything covered already. Do you guys agree that Will McDonald and Forbes were the two biggest reaches in the first round?
By far.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? What? Well, the Packers. The reason why I have them in my bottom ones is they did okay going Luke Van Ness. I'm not I'm not saying anything bad about him. He was a first round talent. That's fine. But to go tight end, tight end, and then a day 3 wide receiver. It was more like they were giving the big FU to Aaron Rodgers because he was gone and getting Jordan Love some weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to hit.
And you know what? You know who else I think is the underdog winner? I'm not saying they're going to be an explosive offense, but look at Jackson Smith in Jigba. You pair him up with DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Talk about
Seattle
a
had a good
good
draft.
young. Talk about a
Very
good
good.
young receiving core.
Uh, Forbes was no longer considered a first round talent. That's why I thought it was a reach where they grabbed him because they picked at what was that, 12?
Hmm. Sounds right.
And when Gonzalez is on the board and Porter, who are both
Yep.
considered better than him,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and like I said, he has to run around the shower to get wet.
Yep.
He's gonna need to pass some PED tests if he's gonna survive. That's for
Did you
sure.
guys read about the? I think it was either fourth or fifth round pick, maybe even later for the Panthers. They picked up a guy from NC State. I think he was like 6'5", 320 plus. Big boy, big O lineman to help our O line.
Mm-hmm. And my surprise pick for the Lions really wasn't going what they did in the first round. It was what they did at the end of the third round, the defensive tackle.
Yep.
Well, I agree that Porter's going to have issues with his first 2 years because he's got to learn to not be so handsy in man coverage. That's why he
Yep.
was no longer considered the number one corner.
That's a cornerback for you. Everyone's gonna need that.
Yep. His dad's gonna have to teach him that.
His dad doesn't teach that. His dad was a linebacker.
Well, his dad teaches to grab people's head and beat them with it.
Right. He taught him how to tackle, and he does that well.
Yep. One of the few Steelers I actually like. Not saying something because I hate the Steelers.
Well, preseason rankings, Porter was number one. This must be Brennan or Quinn talking there, the Facebook user. And the schedule release is a week from Thursday. Yes, on May 11th.
You're gonna be shopping your plane ticket, bud.
We'll be after that. Yes.
You guys got to come here to Baltimore, man. Where we can get here, that's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah. So May 11th is the schedule release. So 2 weeks from today will be the next Roundtable Talks because then we got something big to talk about, the matchups throughout the NFL. And that's when I will start doing, right after that is when I start doing my divisional reviews for each division.
I'm so excited those are back.
I was Gonzo and Spoon from the rip. Yes, you were.
Yeah, those guys. Really good.
Who did the guy from Maryland end up going to? The Jets or
No, Deontay Banks went to the Giants.
Giants? And it was like shit. That's all the Jets need is Banks and Saucy.
No, not the
It
Jets.
would have
Thank
been
God.
nasty. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
one of the New York teams. I had just such
but the
a
Jets
there, but
did take another corner, didn't they?
I feel like they did.
I didn't follow it that close. But I was pissed. I hope Banks would drop, but oh well. Or Branch, sorry.
Some of the UDFAs were interesting.
Yeah,
I like them.
Bryce Ford Wheaton not going drafted and Jaden Reed getting picked was a mind blower to
That was a
me.
shocker.
I mean, Antoine Green was supposed to be a fourth round pick. So I wasn't that upset when the Lions got him in the seventh round.
I can't believe Ford Wheaton went undrafted.
And he's a Giant now, which I said,
Yep.
wow, right now, according to what they have on the roster, he should be wide receiver one.
They should, honestly.
He's going to be a baller. I mean, he only has 3 years of college, so that's not going to necessarily help him. But that dude can play.
That Zach Morton we picked up from Akron, that kid's an athletic beast for a big DN.
Yep.
I love
And that.
I love the pickup of Mo Ibrahim. He's a bruiser, but I don't know how long he'll stay on the roster.
Oh, that's
You're welcome,
right.
Smoking Dad.
Jets didn't grab a cornerback at all, but they did grab a Kuntz in the round 7.
Grab him by the coons.
Yep.
Oh, that being said, my favorite UDFA was a guy that was the third safety behind Branch, Brandon Joseph, falling as a UDFA to the Lions. That was bigger than Mo Ibrahim.
Yeah.
I also like that Switch Army knife that we got out of Virginia.
Oh,
I
that
forgot that he.
Katayan
Yeah,
Thompson.
I forgot that he was a quarterback too. I knew he played everywhere, but I
Yeah, he
forgot
played
that he was.
quarterback, I think, in high school, and then switched
Yep,
to the all the other positions in college.
yep, but yeah, that, talk about plug and play wherever we need somebody. We
Yeah,
make our team. He can be a deadly, deadly weapon coming out of the or a switchblade coming out of the back where you don't see him.
Panthers
yeah,
got
he's played
a
halfback, X receiver, Y receiver, um, tight end.
Panthers got a homebody. I don't think
Also,
he's a
credit
first
where credit
rounder.
is due. Getting more than the bag of used hockey pucks for Swift was a good thing. It's a great thing because
Yep,
I just wish it had been a pick next year, seeing how the draft is in Detroit. But I'll take a fourth round pick 2 years from now.
exactly.
Yep, I do like Mohammed Ibrahim. Isn't that how you or Ibrahim?
Ibra.
Yep,
Ibrahim. Oh, and
it's
that
going to
must
be a
be.
deep. We're going to have a deep ass running back team next year.
Yep. He has the chance. He has the chance to actually upset and take over the running back third.
Yep. Netflix and Action Jackson are going to need to bring their game all training camp. That's for
If
damn sure.
Katayan Thompson can do something to maybe shed a little weight and get a little faster, I think he makes the team. Because that's the only way he's going to get any faster is to shed a little of the extra girth at his size at 6'5".
Yeah.
Because
Either that or take
that
a bunch of
force
jump balls.
that 4.65. Oh yeah, he's a jump guy.
Yep,
He just
he's a
doesn't
jump
have
guy.
a
Fuck how fast he
at
runs.
6'5". As long as he's got that 33-inch vertical, that means he's at 10 foot
Mm-hmm.
when he stretches his arms out.
Yeah,
Almost 11.
that case it doesn't matter if he runs past anybody. All he need to do is throw it above him, and he's got that ball.
Right.
I mean,
But
screw
he's
it.
at the weight he's at now, he'd make a decent tight end.
Yep,
And
that's
that
probably
might
what they're
be
thinking
an,
too.
tight end or the tallest fullback you ever seen.
Yep,
Jeez.
yep.
I think
Another
he was
flat
six
keeper.
five and 240, something like that.
Jesus, that's a tight end. Jesus Christ.
But he played wide receiver, halfback, all that shit.
Yep.
Let me go look again because I've got the picture saved of his RAS score, which was not that great. That's all I got to say. Okay, he's 6'4" and almost 220. Still, that's a big boy.
Yep.
I know the college roster had him listed at 6'5", 6'6", or something like that. It was nuts.
No.
If he's got a good acceleration, which according to the RAS, he has an average acceleration, that means he's good off the rip. He just doesn't have a lot of top speed.
Yeah.
And at that size, hell with it. I mean, if he can go that
You
far,
just
then
want
he
him
can
to
do
run
all
right
along.
behind a 6 foot tall. No, I am talking about Katoan Thompson, the wide receiver UDFA we got. He's 6'4",
UVA.
220. Jack Campbell's 6'4", 250.
Yep.
The old
Some of them are
prototypical
fast.
linebacker size that used to be what everybody wanted. Somebody 6'3", 6'4", 240 to 250 pounds.
Shit, but even then, put them on a bubble screen and get them running ahead of St. Brown, and there's a couple less cornerbacks going to be standing up after that play. Who cares how fast he runs?
Yes, Jack is a beast.
Yeah.
I wish Aleem would give him
Are
54.
any
That
of the
would just be
draft
perfect.
picks doing any meet and greets coming up? I wonder.
Oh, that's going to start up real soon. As soon as the contracts are done, you'll start seeing the meet and greets come up.
Do you go to those?
That's how I met Charles Harris.
Is he still on the roster?
Yeah.
Yes.
Harris? I knew it was hurt, and I had heard nothing yet. I didn't know if they parted ways or.
The NHL has Jack Campbell, the goalie, and the NFL has Jack Campbell, the linebacker. That's awesome.
And Baltimore is Jack Daniels.
Oh God.
Well, that's actually out of Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Damn
What I
right.
would say is Campbell is
Well, after we sign all the rookies, I think we're still going to have 6 to 10 million left.
I think Jack Campbell is Dan Campbell's long lost son.
Probably.
Probably.
No, Jack Campbell, his interview was awesome. He sounds like a very, very good kid.
Yep.
He's a badass.
The pro comp was Luke Kuechly light.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. And that's saying something.
Talking about a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I hope
Yep.
Kuechly's a Hall of Famer, but I don't know if he played enough years.
He did.
Hey, Will, your volume is a little low.
Darn. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be on your computer, Will. See if you can adjust your mic volume.
Oh, I'm on my phone.
Maybe your call volume is turned down because that's
Yep.
usually what controls the mic.
Watch us get an earful of feedback right about now.
Yeah, because I turned them way up.
Are we good now?
Yes, there it is.
Much better.
There, I got you at 100. You're back to normal instead of 125. Whew. Yeah, that's what it was. Your call volume was turned down.
Gotcha.
That sounds much better. So, Keegan, who was your top 5 drafts?
Top 5 drafts.
Yep.
I gotta say, I like what the Patriots did.
Okay.
Patriots, Lions, Eagles, Houston. That's my top 5.
Okay. The only thing I had different was I threw KC in there because for some reason, even when they win a Super Bowl, they pick the right guys where they're picking.
I don't even remember who they picked.
They got that Felix Nzugay Uzama.
Yep. The DN pass rusher. They needed somebody to replace Frank Clark because Frank Clark didn't show up till the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was funny because every single Chiefs fan that I know was griping about that contract for Frank Clark until he started sacking people in the. Yeah, Houston killed it.
Yep.
They had a great draft.
Yeah, they did.
They're going to be in Cap Hill
They
in
had,
3
they had
years,
like a
but,
million picks. They had like a million picks, and they still end up with
A haul.
the best
Yep.
2 players in the top 5.
They used that pick to trade up and grab it. They knew what they were doing. Well played.
Yep.
And the best thing that happened, and you can say what you want, Cardinals trading up and taking Paris Johnson forced the Falcons to take Behan
Yeah.
because they didn't want to reach for the next offensive tackle.
Exactly.
Was it the next like Skaronski?
I think so, yes.
Didn't he
And
go
he
to the
went at
Bears?
11. No,
To the
he
Bears.
went to I thought he went to the Titans.
Oh, okay. Who did I thought the Bears? Did the Bears took an O lineman?
Darnell Wright.
Oh, that's right.
Bears should have taken 5-0 on them. They wouldn't have a chance.
Mesh them into one.
You know what I'm
Those
glad
would take
about?
5 different picks.
You know what I'm glad about? They traded back and they didn't get Carter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't want Carter in our division.
No.
Say what you want. I did not want Carter in our division.
I'll say
Chicago
more.
had a decent draft. I can't complain about it, but I had them all in the middle. My middle, it's all the same grade. It's that B to C plus range. there's not a lot of difference between them. And everybody says, yes, there is. No, there really isn't.
No,
Your B pluses and up are who I give the top grades to,
At
Yeah.
least not until the following year.
and C minus and under is, of course, the bottom feeders.
Yep. I
Damn
would
right.
say Packers are under the C minus.
oh,
No, I'm
way
just saying,
under.
I'm glad Carter didn't end up a bear.
Yeah.
Period. I'm so
I'd
glad.
have given him number 72 if he did.
No, that'd have been Jordan Davis if he went to the Bears last year. He was the one big enough to be called Fridge Part 2.
Touche. I wonder if 72 retired for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They call
I don't
mid.
remember
They
seeing
call.
anyone else.
They give him the number 27. You're not good enough for 72. You're mini fridge, but in reverse.
Funny, Fridge by today's standards is about average size.
Yeah. Back then he was huge
Yeah. Back
because
then
they
he
didn't
was-
make guys that big back then other than the Dallas offensive line.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
draft, and if they did, they didn't play football or they weren't athletic enough. One of the two.
I still remember when Dallas drafted Emmett Smith in the last two pieces of their O line, and John Madden was at the draft. He goes, "Wow, I think I'm going to call that O line 2 tons of fun for Emmett Smith."
That's great.
You guys remember the? You guys remember the Fridge G.I. Joe action figure when they released that? It was a special edition mail-in, and it had like the Fridge in a '72 jersey with a pretty cool ass football with chains and spikes around
That
it.
was the first year they did starting lineup in '85, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But funny thing is, this Fridge had never looked that good. They didn't change the mold to make him big.
Right.
He's like sitting there all cut like every other G.I. Joe. It's like, that ain't the Fridge, dude.
Controversial, but isn't Schuster? Are you talking about Juju Smith-Schuster?
No, I think he's talking about Sue.
Yeah, Sue is a free agent. He's more than likely retiring.
Yep.
He's been to 3 Super Bowls and won one.
He's going to sign a 1-day contract and then retire.
Yeah, he probably will. He probably sign it with the Lions, no less,
Mm-hmm.
because that was his longest tenured contract. No,
I don't know, but we can get him for a song. That would be pretty damn cool. I think in his elder age, it would fit in. But he was still one of my favorite line players. Those first 2 years he was out, he was just awesome.
and nasty.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, Broderick Martin. I want to talk about him. That was that 3rd-round pick that we grabbed, the defensive tackle at the 96 pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
He only played 1 year at D tackle, and it was nose tackle in a 3-4 at Western Kentucky University. The 4 years prior, because that was his 5th year of eligibility because of the whole COVID thing, giving everybody automatically 5 years, he played for Northern Alabama, and he switched between defensive end and D tackle at 330 plus pounds.
Yep.
Talk about a freight train.
Yeah.
And if you actually watch him, he's actually pretty nimble on his feet. The problem is he's top heavy. His legs don't look right with that body. Is all I got to say if you watch his game film. And I think that's something that our D-line coach is going to have to work with him on, about not getting too low and leaning forward while doing it, because that's how he gets pancaked easily to the ground. And when he gets too upright in some positions, he gets blowed back because he is top heavy. So that makes it easier for an offensive lineman to block him.
Either that
But-
or training camps are going to make leg day leg week.
But I'll tell you what, though, he has a burst.
Yep.
In which we need.
And it reminds me of what we saw of Ali McNeil's high school tapes that we saw when they showed him at running back. Just a big bruiser guy running through shit. He's got decent hand pop, so he can push somebody back, but he's just got to learn how to use his leverage right. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm sure they'll win that.
Oh, yeah.
Between him and McNeil, they're going to be hell in the middle.
So if Broderick Martin gets the starting job at 340 pounds, then you got Aleem at 330. You got Hutch on one side at 276 or 267, isn't it? Isn't that his
Something like
rate?
that.
Yeah, 267. And then Josh Pascal at 276 on the other side. That's 1,207 pounds of defensive beef
And they
charging.
can all move.
Plus Houston on.
And then, well, Houston only weighs about 260, I believe.
Yep.
255, 260. That's why he's more suited to outside linebacker than DN.
Yeah, and Houston's still going to be a situation. I don't think Houston's going to be a starter every play.
And I think it's going to end up being Jack Campbell and Anzalone in the middle because they both cover better. And then you can rotate Barnes and Rodriguez in on the outside whenever Hutch isn't there and Houston.
And then we have that UDFA too.
Yeah, Trevor Nowaski out of Saginaw Valley State.
Well, we got Saginaw
That's
boy.
cool.
How many Saginaw Valley State players have made the NFL?
Let's see.
Shit.
Jeff Heath. There was the one wide receiver that went to Green Bay and ended up retiring. His name was Jeff too. I can't remember. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Because he almost signed a contract with the Lions, or he did sign a contract with the Lions in the offseason and didn't make the cut.
I can't think of who
Back
it
in
is.
2016 or 17. He was from Saginaw Valley State. There was another safety other than Jeff Heath that was from Saginaw Valley State back in the. I'd say there at least 3 or 4
That's
have been in
cool.
the NFL.
I like how they call it Valley and there's no mountains in Michigan.
No, the reason why it's a valley is because of the river cutting through and making it lower than the surrounding area.
Oh, that's understood. It's just kind of ironic.
I know
You
it
live
is
in an area-
ironic.
Grow up in an area known for mountains and everything's valley this and everything's valley
Oh.
that because it's between two goddamn mountains.
I know who you're talking about.
Who?
Jeff Janis.
Yep, Jeff Janis. That's the other one.
I remember him. Yep.
And then we had out of Grand Valley State, we had David Kirkus.
Yep. And
That's another Division III school.
Didn't Batch go to Grand Valley State?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you won't believe this.
What?
Someone on him before Maurice Hurst.
Saginaw Valley State?
Yeah, he was there before he transferred to Michigan.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Damn right, Brian. We'll have some nasty ass packages on both sides of the ball this year. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, Grand Valley State has actually produced more. They're upwards of a dozen players that have made it to the NFL. But the GLIAC, which is the Division III school that Saginaw Valley State, that's the conference they belong to. Trevor Nowaski won Defender of the Year last year for the GLIAC.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't even champions. That's how good he was.
It's crazy.
Oh, I'm
But
surprised
when you
that
got
ODU
a 6'4", 200 or 6'3", 235 lineman that can run 4.5, or linebacker that can run 4.5, that's a good combination.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see Grand Valley players getting drafted. You see Ferris State players getting drafted too.
The only guy out of the UDFAs for the Lions that I don't want to see sniff the field is Aiden Martinez,
Yeah.
the quarterback.
He
He's
ain't,
going to be a
he ain't
receiver.
good. They're not even going to let him touch the property.
He probably
He's gonna
competes
be a
with
receiver.
Sudfeld
In,
and lose.
in his college career, 51 touchdowns, 59 turnovers. His fumble rate was 21 fumbles with 16 loss.
Yep. Not good.
Fumbleitis.
Yeah, he ain't going to
And-
be a quarterback.
And you know what the bad part is? He has bigger hands than Goff, but everybody says Goff fumbles a lot.
He'll probably compete with Sudfeld and lose.
No, they got to
Yeah.
move his position, I'm guessing.
Eric Hipple was the last quarterback to win a playoff game, right?
Nope, Eric Kramer.
Eric Kramer. Could have swore it was Hipple for some reason.
Nope, Hipple never won a playoff game. He was a first Scott Mitchell. He had 2 good years and then fell off the goddamn mountain. It was bad.
Goff haters think Martinez is better than Goff.
Not in a million
Okay.
years.
The only way Martinez is better than Goff is if you're trying to make him look like the next Tim Boyle.
True.
Or in a 40 race.
Because
maybe.
he's a better
That's
version of
about
Tim
it.
Boyle than Tim Boyle was.
Yeah. No, I have a feeling Martinez is going to change positions.
I don't even think he's gonna touch an NFL roster, to be honest.
If he changed positions, I think he was only a quarterback in high school and college.
He was.
Good point, James.
Yes, Eric Hippel's brain did get damaged by Richard Dent lots of times. Lots of quarterbacks got brain damage from Richard Dent.
Oh, he was such a badass.
Hey, how about that? It's funny you mentioned Richard Dent. If you put Richard Dent and Lawrence Taylor and Aiden Hutchinson all in the same room, do you know what you have?
Aiden Hutchinson.
No, the only 3 rookies in NFL history to have 9+ sacks and 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I said when Hutch got drafted, he reminded me of Taylor and Dent. There you go.
Well, everybody, we get a little view of Barry Sanders in that Dallas game every time I run my intro.
Yep.
That big touchdown run he had versus Dallas in the playoff.
Yeah.
Right here at the Pontiac Silverdome.
Where is that now? Is that a parking lot or did they build something there? I know they tore it down.
Big Dan Davis. I think Brad Holmes was celebrating his awesome draft so much when he made the decision to sign Martinez. Maybe a little too much bourbon. I don't think Martinez
No
makes
such
this
thing.
roster.
There is no such thing as too much bourbon, good sir.
There is when you're signing UDFAs.
Yeah.
The guys I think that have the best shot to make the 53-man roster. I'm going to start with Brandon Joseph, Mohamed Ibrahim, Zach Morton, Chris Smith, Connor Galvin out of Baylor, the offensive lineman. We had another one on there, Ryan Svoboda and Chris Smith. And hopefully Thompson makes the team, but I don't think he will. I think he'll end up on the practice squad. He's a big guy, but he's on the slow side, so I don't think they're really worried about anybody stealing him.
I think that linebacker Nowaski will make the.
And Trevor Nowaski, that's the other one.
Oh, Jesse Pittman's going to have a hell of a time making the team this year.
Yeah. Pittman ain't making the team. After I saw Campbell, you can only have so many linebackers.
Yep.
I think 6 is the max they can have because we got like 12 to 15 linemen.
Yeah. And
Also,
also,
really
before,
on the roster.
Julian could be moved to linebacker if we needed to.
Wow, Dad. My niece's kid had a full ride to Ferris, 6'1", 310 pounds, and ran a 4.4. Gave it up before the season started because he missed his mommy.
Ouch.
Ugh.
Better there, Smokin' Dad?
I'm hoping that Jack Campbell is somewhere between Chris Spielman and Luke Kuechly. All right, gentlemen, go ahead and monitor the chat for a minute because
Yeah.
I have to use the facilities.
Got it.
And maybe that Dark Angelo kid, too. He was primarily a special teams guy for Illinois.
That's true. I mean,
True.
losing Moore is going to hurt more than we thought. That guy played on, I think, every fucking special team that was there, maybe save extra point. But, yeah, replacing him is not going to be easy. But I'm sure we
We
can
gotta
do it.
fight. Camp is coming up. That's when you fight for that roster spot.
Exactly.
What the fuck? We always talk about drugs, dude. We always cuss and talk about drugs. I mean, shit. I said we're going to need to give the new tackle
Oh, no.
PEDs and give them leg week.
You're muted, Jeremy.
Yes, Jeremy Burgess, I was gone, and you can swear whether I'm here or not because guess what? This is TVMA show, so fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck.
Fuck the Packers.
That being said, it's about time for me to hop on my other show with my publisher. I want to say thank you to each one of my guests. Thank you to everybody in the chat. It's been wonderful talking to you. Tune in 2 weeks when we will be going over the schedule breakdown after next Thursday. Have a great evening. And remember, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before because that's the only way to make the world a better place. Damn it, James.
There's never fucking enough profanity games.
Oh. Big Dan Davis, I wish Detroit would have gotten cunts because then we could have had. And Hooker goes deep into the cunts at the end zone. That being said, thank you very much. I also got to give a shout out to Gloss Negron of A1 Tire Kakalem because he is my sponsor. Without him, I wouldn't have Amazing Blue Car right now.
Nice. I want to see a picture of this car.
Yeah, he tinted the back half of my windows in May's tint.
Whew.
Oh boy.
I want to see that.
I will show it soon. That being said, thanks for watching and have a great evening, everybody.
Thanks, guys.